Ever wondered just how many galaxies are out there in the universe? Let me blow your mind. As of 2026, scientists estimate there are at least 2 trillion galaxies scattered across the cosmos. Yes, you heard that right, 2 trillion. It's a number so enormous, it's almost impossible to grasp. But how did we come to this mind-boggling conclusion? And just how big is 2 trillion really? Today, we're going to uncover the methods, the challenges, and the scale of the universe that even the most brilliant minds are still trying to comprehend. First, let's address the massive question: how do we know that there are 2 trillion galaxies? I mean, that's an unfathomable number. We can't just hop on a spaceship and count them one by one. That would take forever, right? Well, astrophysicists have figured out a much smarter way to estimate this number. And believe me, the process is far more complicated than you might think. You see, we don't have to count each galaxy individually. Instead, we focus on a tiny slice of the universe, just a fraction of the sky. We count the galaxies in that slice, and then we scale up the number across the entire observable universe. Sounds simple, but there's a lot that goes into it. Let's begin with the concept of the observable universe. The universe is vast, so vast that we can only observe a small portion of it. Light takes time to travel, and because of this, we can only see as far as light has traveled in the 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang. This means the furthest object we can see is 13.8 billion light-years away. That's the observable universe. If you imagine it as a giant sphere, the radius of that sphere is 13.8 billion light-years. But this is just what we can see. The universe itself could be far larger. We just don't know because we can't observe anything beyond that limit. Yet, using this observable universe, we can estimate the number of galaxies out there. The next hurdle is ensuring that the part of the sky we're looking at is representative of the entire universe. You see, the universe isn't uniform. Some regions are densely packed with galaxies, while others are almost empty. These vast empty spaces are called voids. In between these areas, we see a cosmic web of galaxies forming clusters, connected by vast voids. It's like a sponge, where the galaxies are the dense, clustered parts, and the voids are the gaps. So, when we pick a patch of sky to count galaxies, we need to make sure it's a boring patch. We want a region that's not too dense with galaxies and not too empty. In other words, we want a part of the sky that's representative of the universe as a whole. But even then, counting galaxies in just one part of the sky isn't enough. We need to account for the size of the observable universe, which is incredibly large. This is where the next complication arises. How do we know we've counted all the galaxies? Unfortunately, we can't be 100% sure. Fainter galaxies, those far away or small in size, are much harder to detect. We rely on deep field images for this. These images involve pointing a telescope at the same patch of sky for a long time, collecting multiple exposures to detect even the faintest galaxies. The better the telescope, the more galaxies we can spot. This is where the Hubble Space Telescope comes in. Its deep field images provided a count of around 200 billion galaxies. But that number wasn't the end of the story. When the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, came online, it completely changed the game. JWST is much more powerful than Hubble and can detect fainter, smaller galaxies that are farther away. With this new technology, we can now estimate the number of galaxies in the universe to be around 2 trillion. But there's still uncertainty. JWST won't catch everything. There are still galaxies that are too faint or too far away to be detected, and some galaxies might be merging or overlapping, making them hard to count accurately. So while 2 trillion is our best estimate, it's a lower limit. There are likely more galaxies out there, we just can't see them yet. Now, let's talk about just how big 2 trillion really is. Imagine you could count galaxies one by one, and let's say you could count one galaxy every second. Counting just 2,000 galaxies would take you 2,000 seconds. That's a little over 30 minutes. Sounds manageable, right? Now, if you counted 2 million galaxies, it would take you 2 million seconds, or about 3 weeks. Still doable, right? But now, let's get really crazy. Counting 2 billion galaxies would take you 62 years. And if you wanted to count 2 trillion galaxies? It would take you 62,000 years. That's right, you'd be counting galaxies for over 60,000 years, non-stop. It's a number so vast that it's almost incomprehensible. But even more mind-blowing is that this 2 trillion galaxies estimate only counts what we can observe. There could be far more galaxies out there, beyond the edge of the observable universe. The universe is constantly expanding, and some galaxies are moving so fast away from us that their light will never reach us. These galaxies are effectively hidden from our view, forever. The universe could be so much larger than we can even imagine, and the 2 trillion galaxies we know about might be just a fraction of what's really out there. What's even more incredible is that these 2 trillion galaxies aren't scattered randomly across the universe. They form massive structures, superclusters, clusters, and filaments, and create a cosmic web of galaxies. This structure is both beautiful and perplexing. If you could zoom out far enough, you'd see a network of galaxies interconnected by vast voids, and that's the structure of the universe as we know it. Each galaxy is a tiny dot in this vast web, with billions of stars, planets, and potentially life within it. It's a reminder of just how small and insignificant we are in the grand scale of things. But at the same time, it's a call to action, to continue exploring, learning, and discovering what lies beyond our corner of the universe.
So, how many galaxies are there in the universe? Right now, our best estimate is 2 trillion. It's a staggering number, but it's just the beginning. There are likely more galaxies we haven't discovered yet, hidden in the vastness of space, beyond the limits of our current technology. The more we explore, the more we realize how much we have left to discover. The universe is far bigger and more complex than we could ever imagine, and 2 trillion galaxies are just the tip of the iceberg. If you're as fascinated by the universe as we are, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below telling us what you think is out there. We're only scratching the surface of what's possible in the universe, and we'll be here to share every discovery with you as we continue to explore the cosmos together. The universe is waiting.